I have witnessed more than 3,900 patients pass away over the course of my 52 years practicing medicine. I signed their death certificates, held their hands in their final moments, and delivered the devastating news to their families. And I am going to tell you something that most of those people had in common. They did not deserve to leave life that early. Not because of genetics, not because of bad luck, but because of their daily decisions. I first began to recognize these patterns in 1973. The very behaviors I warned patients about for decades, most of them refused to listen. Now, most of them lie beneath the ground. I am 101 years old. I am not telling this story to seek sympathy or admiration. I am telling it because I need you to understand that I have spent more time beside dying people than almost anyone still alive today. And I know very clearly what separates those who live to 92 from those who suddenly die at 67. Perhaps right now, today, this very morning, you are doing at least two of these things, unaware that they are shortening your life day by day. The first thing I learned through 52 years of treating patients is that sitting still will take you down faster than most other habits. This is not an exaggeration. I have seen it with my own eyes, patient after patient. In 1982, I began keeping my own records, comparing patients who worked sitting down with those who moved regularly. Accountants, office workers, executives, they aged in a completely different way. Their blood test results were different. Their hearts weakened earlier. By 1991, I had enough data to know that someone who sits 7 or 8 hours a day is aging their internal organs about 35% faster than someone who stays active throughout the day. Medical literature only caught up later, but I had already seen it in my patients' bodies. This is what happens. You sit. Blood circulation slows. Blood pools in the legs. The lymphatic system, which requires movement to function, becomes congested. Toxins accumulate. Muscles begin to atrophy after just a few days of disuse. After the age of 60, this process accelerates dramatically because the body loses the resilience it had at 40. I once had a patient, a retired lawyer, who exercised diligently every morning for 40 minutes. He believed he was safe, but then he spent 9 or 10 hours sitting, reading books and watching television. He died at 72 from a stroke. The morning workout did not save him from the afternoon immobility. The solution is not complicated. Move once every hour. Stand up. Walk to another room. Do something that requires your legs to work. I have done this since 1975. I set a reminder clock. Every 45 minutes, I stand up. I am 101 years old, and I still maintain this habit. The second pattern I recognized is sleep. Not just sleeping enough, but sleeping well. I cannot count how many patients proudly told me they only needed 4 or 5 hours of sleep. They said it with pride, as if it were a sign of strength. In reality, It is an illusion. Your brain needs 7 to 8 hours to complete its repair cycles. During deep sleep, the glymphatic system removes metabolic waste, including proteins associated with cognitive decline. When you consistently sleep too little, you allow toxins to accumulate night after night. I saw patients with poor sleep begin to experience memory problems a full decade earlier than those who slept well. The connection was so strong that I could almost predict who would decline based on their sleep habits at age 60. And here is what recent research has only now confirmed. Fragmented sleep is even worse than short sleep. Waking up 3 or 4 times per night, even briefly, prevents you from reaching the deep stages where real restoration occurs. Many of my patients did not even realize they were waking up. Their spouses knew, but they themselves did not. If you wake up feeling tired after 7 hours in bed, something is wrong. Check your sleep environment, avoid late caffeine, keep the room dark and cool. I advise patients to adjust their sleep schedules, and those who listened often saw clear improvements in their health, but most ignored it, believing that fatigue was a normal part of aging. Remember, sleep is not a luxury. It is the foundation of long life. Once you pass 60, the body is less forgiving of lost sleep. I have seen successful, busy people who prided themselves on sleeping little, only to pay the price with their mental and physical health. One of my patients, a businessman, stayed up late working, believing that success required sacrificing sleep. He began forgetting the names of friends at 65, and by 75, he no longer recognized his own children. That was not random. It was the result of repeated choices. To avoid this, prioritize sleep the way you prioritize food. Create a consistent bedtime routine. Avoid screens for an hour before bed. Use deep breathing techniques to relax. I have practiced these habits since age 70, and they have helped me maintain clarity to this day. Do not wait until problems appear. Act now. Now, think about yourself. Are you sleeping enough? Or are you deceiving yourself into believing that little sleep is a sign of strength? The truth is, it may be a path toward early decline. Next, I will talk about another factor, often overlooked, yet just as deadly. I want to tell you about my wife. She passed away 7 years ago. We were together for 63 years. She followed none of the advice I just shared. She sat all day because of knee pain. She slept poorly and refused treatment. She ate the way her mother taught her: white bread, sweets, low-fat foods. She worried about our children and grandchildren every day, from their education to each child's health. She died at 95. You may think 95 is an impressive age, but I watched her decline for 18 years before that. I watched her gradually lose mobility, lose mental clarity, lose independence. Her final years were not a gift. They were a slow, painful deterioration. She could have had at least another decade of healthy, joyful life if she had been willing to change. But she chose to stay with her old habits. I am 101 years old. I live alone. I cook for myself every day. I walk regularly. I read books. I call my grandchildren often. I sleep 7.5 hours every night. I am not special. I am not luckier than anyone else. I simply made different choices. You are making choices right now, today, in this very moment. And I tell you, from 52 years of witnessing thousands of deaths, that those choices matter far more than you realize. You do not need to change everything at once. Start with just one thing: prolonged sitting, poor sleep quality, isolation, poor diet, or chronic worry. Fix just one, and the others will begin to follow. I have buried 2 of my 3 children. I have buried my wife. I have buried more than 3,900 patients. I am still here. And I affirm to you that most of the people I escorted to their final moments did not deserve to die so early. They could have lived longer, healthier, happier lives. They only needed to change a few small habits. Now it is your turn. You are still here. You still have time. Do not wait until your body sends its final warning before you regret it. Stand up right now. Walk a little. Drink a glass of water. Call someone you love. Eat a proper meal. Take a deep breath and let go of one unnecessary worry. I cannot promise you will live to 100 like I have, but I promise that if you begin changing today, you will live your remaining years with far better quality. You will suffer less, depend less on others, and experience more joy. I have seen too many people filled with regret in their final hours. They told me, "Doctor, if only I had known sooner." Do not put yourself in that position. Act today, because tomorrow may be too late. Thank you for listening to a 101-year-old man tell his story. I hope these words help you live longer, live better. And if one day you reach 90, 95, or even 100, remember this: not luck, not genetics, but daily choices brought you there. I wish you health and peace.